Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are all enjoying your day. Today, we're going to be looking at your weekly forecast, which is going to be spanning from the 9th of February all the way until the 16th of February, which would be next Sunday. And we do these every Sunday. It's our weekly forecast series, and we show you your temperature anomaly forecast, precipitation anomaly forecast, as well as some special events, storm systems, big temperature swings that are going to be happening throughout the week, and we kind of help you plan out your week, so you get a good idea of what your week is going to look like over your area. So we do go over temperature anomaly and precipitation anomaly. It goes out on an average of 7 days. So of course you could, even if you're in below average, you could see a little bit of above average. If you're in above average, you could still see a little bit of below average. But it is an average out for your entire week. So let's get right into it here. Let's start talking about your temperature anomaly forecast. You see we have two areas of above average. We have slightly above average here in this yellow for parts of the mountainous west, and then reaching all the way until the Pacific. And then we have some above average there for the southeast and mid Atlantic and northeast. But for the mid Atlantic and northeast, I do want to point out you are going to have some chillier days, 10, 15, 20 degrees below average in some areas as you get into the later portion of this week, getting around the 15th or 16th, where you are going to be experiencing an Arctic blast to move through your area, and it's mainly going to move through the Midwest, but definitely it's going to still move, kind of swing through parts of the Northeast and Mid Atlantic. So you will see a couple chilly days in there. Again, that's what I said in the beginning of the video. You could have some below average if you're still in the above average. You could still have some above average as you get into the below average. So it kind of makes this forecast a little bit trickier, but I think on average it's going to be just a bit above average if you do live in the Northeast Mid Atlantic. But if you do live in the Southeast, I do expect you guys to be even more above average, moderately above average, anywhere in this orange shade, over parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, through Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and into parts of Florida, all of Florida actually. So now let's add your below average temperatures where it's going to be colder than normal over parts of the Midwest, Great Lakes, and even stretching into parts of the Ozarks. So they're seeing some slightly below average conditions. So if you're just in this first shade, it's not going to be too noticeable. And also, as you get further into the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, and even into Minnesota and Iowa, even though you're going to be impacted with that large Arctic blast early in the week, you're also going to have some pretty high mild temperatures for the beginning portion of this week. So it is going to be kind of a really wild week over parts of the north central U.S. and also getting into the northeastern United States with temperatures at least. So here is your moderately below average conditions. This is going to be for parts of the Great Lakes and Midwest through parts of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, and through Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and through into Michigan and Wisconsin, all going to be seeing some moderately below average conditions. And this is where I really think the heart of this cold air is going to be sitting down. And I think you could have some temperatures readings negative 20 degrees for your actual Fahrenheit temperatures. So definitely some very cold air. And I plan to make a video on this if this still does show up in the models. And this is actually something that is verifying. So well, definitely, we have to see. This is going to be going from the 13th through about the 16th or 17th. So we'll definitely have to see. It's something that's still going to change exactly where this places, where the coldest of the air places. I'll definitely be making a video on this if it does really get its act together and it really comes down through from Canada where all that cold air is bottled up. And if that actually spills down into the U.S., I'll definitely make a video on that. So make sure you are subscribed and you have your notifications turned on. So let's get into your precipitation here, and this is going to be where you're going to be seeing where it's drier and wetter than normal over all of the entire United States. Now, over parts of the West, we have some slightly below average conditions in this lighter brown. Over parts of the Northwest, the northern and central Rockies, and into parts of the Midwest, you are going to be experiencing some slightly below average conditions as far as precipitation. So it is going to be a drier week, and even there for the Northwest, where you've had multiple weeks upon weeks of just really getting hammered with some precipitation, it really looks like that's not going to be the case. You're really only going to get half an inch to an inch of rainfall, which is still a lot for many areas, but for your areas, you guys get a lot of precipitation on average. So you guys are still going to be below average. You're going to get a little bit of rain and snow, but it's not going to be too much compared to what you should be getting this time of year and what you have been getting. So it is really a relief if you do live in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, even into Montana. There, you guys have been seeing quite a bit of precipitation. So here's your second layer here. This is your moderately below average, and this can be over to the Dakotas, through Montana, through Wyoming, Nebraska, a little bit there of Colorado, Utah, and Idaho, and then through the central part of Nevada and California, all seeing some moderately below average conditions as far as precipitation. This can be a fairly dry week for these areas. Some areas in the shade could see close to zero precipitation throughout the entire week. So zero rainfall, zero ice precipitation, zero snowfall. So it's just going to be a very dry week if you do live within this thin corridor through parts of the west. Now, we do have some above average conditions as far as precipitation here over parts of the south central, southeastern, and northeastern United States, all experiencing some slightly above average conditions here if you do live in this light green. So this is where you're going to get some pretty good systems, about two systems throughout the entire week, maybe a third one later in the week, but we'll have to see. But they're going to ride through this area, and really, as you get into parts of the south central and southeast, it's really going to be able to ramp up and bring a lot of that moisture up from the Gulf, out from the western side of Mexico through the Pacific, and really both of those areas are going to converge, and you're going to get quite a lot of precipitation right in that northern Louisiana, central and northern Mississippi, and central and northern Alabama region, and southern Arkansas as well. All going to be seeing quite a bit of precipitation throughout this week. We have this moderately above average region, and this can be over parts of the south central and southeast. This is where I expect you to be even wetter and snowier, mainly in the mountains. You could get a little bit of snow, but it's really just going to be rain over parts of the southeast through this week from the 9th through the 16th here, and I think you're going to have multiple days where you pick up half an inch to an inch of rainfall, and maybe even a little bit more on some days where you could have some scattered thunderstorms or heavy downpours with some of these storms. We even have this third shade of above average, well above average, and this is really a really hard area to really forecast and pinpoint, because this could definitely move a couple miles south, couple miles north. So definitely I'll be updating you with some storm forecasts for these individual storms. But definitely where that does track exactly is going to be a big forecast difference here, and definitely it could move a little bit to the south. This all could move a little bit to the north. So we'll definitely have to see, and I'll make a video on this probably if we do get a large storm to move through this area. But this is where I'm expecting you to get a lot of precipitation, really above average, 10 inches forecasted from just 1 week of storms over parts of the southeast. So definitely warrants the well above average category as far as precipitation. Now, let's get into your special notes segment of the video. Now, this is going to be showing you where your storms are going to ride through. Now, this is going to be a storm that I did cover on my channel already, and I covered this yesterday and the day before on my channel, the past two videos before this video, and definitely go check that out. I went over the European model, and I also went over my personal snowfall and rainfall forecast, as well as my individual storm track, and definitely you can go check that out if you do want to forecast if you are in this impacted regions. Now, the blue indicates snowfall throughout the northern tier of the U.S., and this is going to be a cross-country winter storm, and I didn't want to put my snowfall forecast in that because definitely that would take a little bit too much time, and we do have a couple more other events that we have to get to in this video, but you can go check that out. It is on my channel. And this is a little surface map I made. Snow in the blue, rain in the green, the heavier rain in those darker shades of green over parts of the southeast, as you're really going to get that enhancement from parts of the Gulf of Mexico and even coming in from the Atlantic. So we're going to have a lot of moisture throughout parts of the southeast this week. And again, I did make multiple videos on this storm. Now, we're going to be talking about this next storm system over parts anywhere shaded in this pink, and this pink shading could move a little bit to the west, a little bit to the east, but I didn't want to put any snowfall or rainfall because I'm not certain right now on what's going to happen. Right now, the models are showing some sort of system through the interior northeast and through parts of the northern, or the parts of the Great Lakes, and into parts of the northern Ozarks. Some models are showing, so it's definitely the models are moving around. So we're gonna have to see what's actually gonna go on, what's actually gonna happen. But this a storm going from the 11th. Through all the way until the 14th. So we'll have to see, and I'll definitely probably make a video on this event when it does occur. Now, we are expecting an Arctic blast. I did talk about this, and it's going to be going from the 13th through the 16th. So really, the 13th, 14th, it's over parts of the Dakotas, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, and then as it gets into the 14th, 15th time frame, it's more over the Great Lakes, through parts, almost reaching to the northeast, and then as you get into the 15th and 16th and 17th, even could be lingering there for the easternmost parts of the northeast. You could be seeing some 10, 15, 20 degrees below average for parts of the Northeast and Ohio Valley with this event. But if you live in the Great Lakes and Midwest, you definitely could be experiencing 30 degrees below average, which will bring your temperatures down to around 20 below, and wind chills could definitely be much lower than that. So we'll definitely have to talk about that if this does actually play out. And it's gonna change quite a bit where the coldest air is gonna set up. And this is the 13th, so that's about 4 days from when I'm recording this on the 9th. So definitely a lot is still going to change, but I think I will definitely have a video out on this because it is our first major Arctic blast, I guess you could call it, because it is coming from the Arctic regions, or at least northern Canada, in that region. It's our first blast of air that's really come from that region and dumped some cold air, really with that polar connection, which we really haven't seen this entire winter. So maybe this is a sign for you snow lovers to get some snow and cold air potentially through parts of the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast, but we'll definitely have to see. It's a little bit far-fetched, but we'll have to see. And if we do get any snowstorms through this area, I'll definitely be updating you guys on my YouTube channel. Anyways, guys, that is going to wrap the video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video when I do upload. And I do these daily, and I've been doing these daily for the past about 40 or so videos, so definitely 40 or so days. I've had a video out for 40 days in a row, so definitely go check out my channel and see if you want to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss when I do upload. Anyways, guys, that was Eli the Weather Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.